use. And if we were kids in a class, because like trying to bring in different perspectives, and then it's like, wait, what are they talking about again? Yeah, I'm like.
See if we can fix it, right? All right, y'all hold it. See if we can fix it.
Y'all were doing it correctly. Toby was headed a different way.
All right,
I was
Toby,
just
stop
trying to
it.
find out what they used for the color.
So they're gonna finish. I don't hear talking.
Okay. So this represents all the cheese we need for 3 pizzas.
Okay,
So this represents 1 4/5 3 times.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so then we needed to know what is the solution? How much cheese is this? Right? So then we said this is 1 cup, and we started doing like this. Like
I'm sorry, what is 1 cup?
this yellow rod, thank you. This yellow Cuisinart rod represents 1 cup of cheese.
Okay,
This line represents all the cheese you need for 3 pizzas,
okay,
and this represents 1 cup.
okay.
So then we were trying to do something like, this, like if you do like that, and you go down like that. and
Like you would measure something?
like we would measure it, but then he came up with, we took this apart because we already know what that is. This is all the cheese we need for 3 pizzas. So we kind of took this apart because we already know this is 3 cups because 1 yellow represents 1 cup. So we knew this was 3 cups already, right there, right? But we don't know how many cups this is, right?
Right.
And so then we,
I call simplifying.
what did we do?
No.
So this is 1 cup. Oh, yes. Okay, so then we said, we don't know what that is, but we do know that this yellow plus this yellow is 2 cups.
Okay,
And so then we put them together to measure this so far. We know that's at least 2 cups, and then we had 2/5 left because
what?
this red unit,
2/5 cup of cheese.
2/5.
Is that right? Okay,
And then we added it.
yes.
And so it was 3 plus these 2 cups that we put together plus this remaining 2 units. And so
so your answer is?
the answer is 5 2/5 cups of cheese. Cheese, I love cheese. This is the amazing
I
part.
know,
The time we have saved us so much.
Thank you.
Because lunch is supposed to be here, who knows when lunch is coming? I don't see Nicole. Do we have time to do one more page?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So,
I mean, if it's not here.
we're gonna skip this one, and we're gonna go to the last one.
Oh, sorry.
So she's figuring if she triples her the punch rate to 12. So we have 1, 2, 3. So, this is our quarter.
That's also great.
Yes. Okay. So we have 1.5 quart of ginger ale, but we're gonna double, or we're gonna triple it. So we need 3 of them. The triple means, yes. Right. What we can do, now that we've seen that these are our 3 ginger ales. Ginger ales, 1 punch ginger ale, the other punch ginger ale. So we can actually combine them all together and represent
This is purple, this is purple. No, you said that would be my only thing. It was driving me crazy that I decided this one, so. We're gonna have purple, so I
Right. So you want it all together. Okay. So that's 4,
And honestly, what is a bowl? A bowl is this thing that contains liquid and you pour into it. And I'm gonna dump it out and give it a little bit. This is realistic, right? Right. Correct. 1 quart. Okay. This is.
hold on, no.
Even Erica said it.
Because we need more purple. We need more purple. Because, look, we need to make that to where it's easier for the student, because they can clearly see that that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4.5 quarts all together for this 1 part. Why? Correct. But we need this one for this part. Oh, because of the end. Why you need to know the quart size? Because you have to keep track of them, right? 12 of these. So how are you going to tell if it's more than 12 if you don't know how it's Okay, but how do you know if you don't separate each one? Okay.
This is going to be a cup or a cup of ginger. But also
It's gonna slop over that much.
because I was going to not change the units on it. This is a quart.
This is a quart no matter what.
Right. So if you okay, that's the ginger.
Yeah.
Now,
That's what I So we need 2 lime sugars. So we need 1, 2, 6, 8. We need 2 breakfasts.
But that's why we were thinking 2.
That's the thing that this is about.
Right, and
Because it's just like, it actually, in my world, it would be easier to say, okay, yeah. So then we need 3/4.
Yeah, and in science, I think when we ask them writing, to what is it?
That's
It's ready to go. Let's start over.
Yes, but how are students gonna remember how many quarts are in? Okay.
This is one reason they would have that. Writing all out. In my mind, this is how.
Yeah, but you don't know how many quarts that is, so how can you subtract that?
I'm not saying I'm gonna find
No, it makes sense, I just don't think a student is gonna see it like that.
Find it. This one didn't. I would think that, this is the way
But
I
you're
would.
also a lot older than that.
No, I'm not thinking sophisticated, I'm thinking stupid. I mean, you got this book, and then you have this other thing on here, and they say, okay, can I make triple of that? Here's one of them. Pour out that, pour out this, pour it in the bowl, see if it
Tell me with
fits.
your fingers how many more minutes you need, 1, 2, or 3?
But if we do it messy,
One.
actually,
Okay,
I
one
think
is.
it's break down. And then we're gonna add this much pineapple juice, because that.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to 2010. Yeah.
Is that what you said?
No, it does, it's not the way I would do it.
Which way would you? Because you're the one here.
No, the only way I would do it is I would want to have enough of these.
How would you?
Just because if I had enough of those, I could easily count and see if that's more than 12. But this, to me, this confuses me, because how do we know how many purples, like just this over there, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that has 5 purples.
And typically the short answer would be even more confusing in answer to the question. Give an example. The original Cuvier rods are not.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying is, yes, we know one of these is a quart, and so we measured that and then found something that looked equivalent. But when a kid sees this sitting over here and a kid sees this sitting over here, they're not gonna know how many purples are over there.
That's when they talk. That's when they talk together and began to add, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That's part of the learning.
Yeah.
She didn't notice that I didn't put it over there.
So come to
Put it right there, where the ginger ale is.
right, and he has a purpose up and a very.
Okay, we're gonna have one
See, the
group
thing
come
is,
up
we
and
would love
explain how they got their
And if we're
answer, and
using
when they
these
come up here,
rather
they
than
cannot just tell me their answer. And they cannot just have a mathematical expression or sometimes an equation to tell me how they got their answer. I want a pictorial representation, so they should have a sketch, okay? Demonstrating how they did that. Now, and Lisa, y'all ready? Michael and Lisa are gonna come up here. Okay.
We gotta put a little bit more on our schedule.
While they're completing that, because their sketch, they're correcting their sketch, not correcting it, but
Completing it.
yes, thank you. I have a question. Was this one, what did you notice about this problem?
You didn't tell us any measurement.
That's a big one. I did not tell you what to use for any of those items that were up there. You know, in the past, in the first 2 or 3 we did, use the yellow rod for 1 cup of cheese. Okay? I didn't tell you that. So how did you determine what to use?
You have big spread.
I always try to use the larger Cuisinart rod. that might fit a denominator.
Okay,
That way, you cannot simplify the smaller, fraction or usually, but the larger one, you should be able to at some point.
okay.
So if I use the larger one, to me it seems it works.
So he uses the larger Cuisinart rod that would fit one of those denominators. So you had some choices there, right?
Don't use the 2, use the 4.
Okay, don't use the 2, use the 4. Could you use something else? What color is the 4? You could use the purple. Could you have used something else?
Yeah, you could have also used.
You could have used 2 red. Could you have used something else? You could have used 4 white. 4 white. He said a green and a white.
Well, use the brown.
The brown because it is 8 units.
Why did you use 4?
Why did you use 4, Toby?
Because it was the exact number of the denominator of 3/4, and I could see working with that, with the other fraction 1/2.
No, so you found a common denominator?
Yeah,
Is that easier for you?
well, I don't know if that's the correct math term that they would use at whatever grade level, but, for me, it works.
Okay, did y'all notice when she asked Toby a question, I've seen many teachers answer the question for Toby. Well, he did this. Don't do that. What did I do? Turn to Toby and explain your answer. Questioning strategy is so important. Okay, you need the,
I got it.
you got it? Thank you. Michael, we're gonna let you do the talking.
Oh, okay.
You can do it, Michael. You're the
Right here, we got your back.
Okay, what we started off with was, took a look at the recipe there, and we had to figure out what the cup, or what would represent 1 quart.
Okay,
So we picked the 4 Cuisinart rod,
okay,
and then we represented that 1 1/2 quarts using 1 1/2 of the Cuisinart rod. So then we tripled that.
okay, now tell me why.
We tripled it because down here in the question, it says if she triples the recipe.
Okay,
So
I
we-
don't see a recipe up there yet. I just see a quart and half of a
Sorry.
quart.
This is the recipe.
Uh-huh,
So, when it says that it that 1 1/2 quart ginger ale, and then down here it says if she triples the recipe, so
Oh,
we tripled the 1 1/2, made 3.
okay,
of
so you're
these.
working with the ginger ale right now.
Yes.
All right, so that represents your ginger ale.
This represents the ginger ale,
Got
correct.
it,
And so we tripled that and come up with 4 1/2
okay.
when you total it all
4
together.
1/2,
Quarts. So the way you do that is you put these together.
mhm.
And these are,
Quarts.
Thank you, Donna.
Getting in the swing of it, huh?
I do it all the time in my classroom, trust me.
So you have what represented there, Mike?
So now these are quarts. So we have what we found in our math. We did the math down here, and then we back and forth represented it,
Numerically.
numerically. And there it is. So it's
Oh,
4.
wait, there it is.
Sorry, these are the 4 quarts and 1/2 quart.
Of
Ginger ale.
Ginger ale, okay,
Yes.
so we got that.
So that's how we tripled it.
Okay,
Okay. Then we did the same process with the lime sherbet.
okay,
We used, of course, 2 of these, which is, we decided the 4, of course, we ran out, so we had to put the red
you
together.
stopped in mid-sentence twice,
Hmm.
so tell me again what you did.
All right, what we did was we took, since the 4 Cuisinart rod represents a quart.
Okay,
We ran out, so we had to put 2 of the red together to represent the 4 quarts.
and the kid could explain that 2 ways, it's the same length, or it has the same number of units. I would
Same
say-
number of units, okay? So that's what we did with the sherbet, and we put that together and come up with 6, put the
Wait,
quarts
you put-
together,
You put what together? I
the
only see
quarts
4.
together, and came up with 6.
Tell me how.
Because you had 2 courts to start off, so you got
Yes.
2, 4, 6, and that's because we tripled it.
Okay.
It was required that we do 2 times 3,
Thank
so
you.
that gives you 6.
So you tripled the two.
Tripled the 2.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that is your Sherbert,
Yes.
all right?
Then we did the same process for the pineapple juice with the 3/4, okay? And we took the green Cuisinart rods. So you have, we tripled this by making
Wait,
it,
stop.
you're required to have,
You tripled this. I don't know what this is. You tripled,
you tripled the 3 quarts,
okay,
3/4 of a quart,
okay,
sorry. 3/4 of a quart
all right,
times 3,
good,
and that's what you got here.
good.
All right, so we put those together and come up with 2 1/2 complete quarts.
Okay,
I'm sorry, 1/4. 2 1/4 complete quarts, once you combine all of that together.
all right, great.
All right, and then, what we did then was combine all of this
All of the
together for the
ingredients.
total to find out if it fit in a 12-quart bowl.
Okay,
So what you find is that once you combine it all together, you get 12 3/4 quart.
12 3/4 quarts?
Yes. And we simply put all the quarts together like this,
Okay, good,
and then counted them up,
all right,
and you get 12, by counting all those 12, and then this is 3/4 of a quart
okay, good.
left over. That's your fraction. 12 3/4 quart is your total.
Okay,
The answer to the question then is no, because you only have a 12-quart bowl. So you have too much, you have a remainder here, so it will not fit.
the remainder of
A remainder of your,
3/4 of a course.
3/4 of a quart.
3/4 of a quart remaining that won't fit in the bowl. And then, of course, we drew the whole thing too, down here.
Just drink that 3/4 of a quart.
It's all there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See, it wasn't so bad, was it?
It was horrible.
So, last Thursday, we were in Ralph's class, and he was doing liquid measure, customary liquid measure. He teaches math, not science. Well, maybe both, I don't know, but it was a math class. And, he had him using measuring cups to figure out how many cups, pints, quarts, were all in that gallon thing, all right? He also had some cylindrical measuring, containers, I don't know what you call those. So the kids what am I trying to say, understood that, a half of a cup in a measuring cup and a half of a cup in that cylindrical container did not look the same, but they're the same amount. Because of course, we have to pay for the container, right? So, this would fit right in with that, maybe even in the science class.
Well, the idea that it's a liquid measure, and I was sitting here thinking, going back to Ralph's lesson, is that gonna be confusing with students using something solid but representing a liquid measure? So maybe the idea of bringing back this liquid measure, like in the math and what you do
The
in
actual
science
cups.
too, would be a good connection.
Good idea. Wonderful idea. Okay, we're not gonna we skipped one of those pages, all right? So you can, you don't have them, but we can give them to you and you can play with them on your spare time. They're here, ladies. And I'm not gonna have a whole lot of time, but I just wanna show you where we're gonna head next month because I can finish this next month. These are the teachings that this lesson covered. Okay, these are the learning objective comes from the TEEPs. You don't have to take the whole TEEP, you can take a part of it. You see this one says fractions, decimals, all of that. You can split it up. You can just do fractions, you can just do decimals, you can work with pictures one day, concrete objects the next, as long as you do all of them at some point in time, ending with the abstract. This is the current TEEP for 7.2A, which stays current for the coming year when the math teachers change K8. However, they've been moved to grades 5 and 6. This is now in grades 5 and 6. Okay? So if you're not asking those rich questions, and your teachers below you, K1, 2, 3, are not asking those rich questions, the kids are not going to be ready to comprehend this. This is another objective that was also covered here, and this is the current objective, and it stays the same for the fall. The current 7.2G was also covered in this activity, and it's been subsumed into 7.1B. 7.1B. Look at the different verbiage. Determine reasonableness. Now they're expected to use a problem-solving model, incorporate analyzing given data, formulate a plan or strategy. I learned this in Algebra 1, by the way. Determining, of course I was 6. Determining a solution, justifying the solution, that is required. They have to justify their solution. And evaluate the problem-solving process. What does that mean? Evaluate the problem-solving process. What does that mean?
Determine if there's an easier way or a different way to solve a problem.
A different way, perhaps an easier way. Did it actually work? When I had y'all show different ways up here, I was trying to get to this part, analyzing. Claudette decided she wanted one way to do it, and that's the way she was going to stick with it, which is fine, isn't it?
So these questions might look something like, so this student chose this way of solving the problem, this student chose this way. Whose way is right? Who got the correct answer?
Or are they both correct?
Or was the answer efficient? Or your solution efficient?
Or what were the differences in their processes? And can you tell me the differences and why they both work if they're both correct? It could look a lot of ways. Okay, and then the current 7.14A is now 7.2D. And it specifies multiple representations, so we're right here, meaning what?
It's gonna be seen a lot of different ways.
Meaning what? What ways?
Simple
Pictures. Words,
tables,
numbers, tables, charts, all of that has to be done in mathematics. Pictures, charts, tables, words, all of that, including symbols, diagrams, charts, and language as appropriate. There's that writing coming in. Language as appropriate. Also speaking for the ELPs.
and the academic language, the math language, as we were talking about earlier with compose and decompose.
Yeah, that's that word, appropriate. And then 7.15A is the current, and the new one is 7.1F. Expected to analyze mathematical relationships. That's what y'all were doing here. Y'all were analyzing those relationships and connecting and communicating mathematical ideas. And is this not the one? This is not the one. So there must be one more. The analyzing relationships to form connections is very important here. So when Toby was analyzing somebody else's way and Claudette was analyzing the way they did it because she liked it better than the way they started off, that's that process that you just can't get if you stand up and just tell the kids how to do this. Okay, I saw many of you trying to cheat and use your teacher knowledge and just do it mathematically. Don't let your kids do that unless they're ready and can explain it to you conceptually. Not just my 4th grade teacher told me to flip the second number and multiply. That won't work. Why do you flip that second number and multiply? Anybody know? Nobody knows? I know. Nobody knows? We'll learn. Give you something else to teach y'all. So the current 7.15B, validate his or her, I can't talk, conclusions using mathematical properties and relationships. And that's the new 7.1G. And this is where Sandra and I got really excited. You see this last sentence down here? Precise mathematical language is expected. So note this and that and all of that. Okay? Precise mathematical language. Okay. Sloppy language. No more of that.
Dr. Browning?
Thank y'all for catching me.
Sorry.
So, and that's justified, I mean, they have to justify and they have to use this, and you can't get around it, you have to teach it now. Okay, you cannot let them use all those pronouns, all right? Questions so far? Because when we come back next month, I'm gonna finish this, we're gonna talk about levels of cognition. You know what they are? Okay, Russell?
Well, this might relate to levels of cognition, I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll leave that on there, and you tell us what you're thinking.
Because it came to me later that the question asked us to find out if she triples the recipe. I don't know if the students know that to triple the recipe, you have to triple each part of the recipe.
Good point.
And so you can make a recipe and then triple it.
Donna did it that way, and you too? Wonderful. If we'd had more time,
Right.
we would have had y'all
Yeah.
come up and explain that. That
Because
would
I
have been
didn't
wonderful.
dawn to me till later.
Thank you, Russell. Anything else? Comments? Okay, if you would please put your Cuisinart rods back into the tray that they came out of. And I'm done, and we'll start back on this next month.
Okay, let me give you some instructions for lunch.
Frightening things.
Lunch is in the next room. We want the teachers to get theirs. The drinks are back here, so you can get your food and then come back here to get the drinks. And come back in here for the Gen and Z planning and integrated lessons. And the principals will stay in there with Link. And you can eat while he's discussing it.
As far as I'm.
Yeah, I'm gonna see here. I'm gonna see yours was, 425.
Josh case has gone down in price or something.
Those over there on the stuff will be what?
I have it. I was looking for it.
It's not the only way to say it. How much show you know?
That is up to Dr. West. She has all of that information. Napkins are made, I'm sorry. If you would like with plate or napkins, and there's also pickles next door. And delivery.
Okay, we have a sandwich.
Okay.
We're gonna go get it.
It's already cut up.
Awesome. I like this. How much is it, darling?
$4.25.
You got it. I've got it, I've got it. Truly. Here, there's 4, and here's a 25.
Yeah, there is some and plate. I just wanted to bring y'all in here.
Nitrate is done. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But our napkin would be some napkins or 2. 2 or 3. Something different than what I said. She didn't give anything different from me. I put on a coat and then I take off the coat.
You're up and moving around and take it off. Did you get yours? Ooh, I started cutting.
Thank you. I enjoyed it so much. This is not possible. I couldn't follow anything. Thank you guys.
Oh my goodness.